Hey everyone, in this video I had recorded bits and pieces of ebonizing the neck of this Rhodes. I wasn't planning on ebonizing this guitar initially. I was actually just adding a bridge and some pickups and a few things, and one thing led to another. I decided to refret it and all kinds of other stuff. And so this is part of a video series showing just each step because there was too much to show in one video. And what you'll find in this video is that if you watch it all the way through, it's not real long. There's some sections where I talk about some of the problems I did run into and where I had to go back and resand and redo it and why. And there is at the end, you'll be able to see how it looks compared to how it, how it came out compared to how it looked at the beginning. So hope you enjoy this video. It's not too long. I try to keep it short as possible for you guys. So enjoy. So here's the fretboard before I did any ebonizing to it. I just got the frets out and got it ready to go, and so this is what it looked like before. Okay, so here's an update on this Jackson Rhodes neck. I had taken everything off, all the frets off, and gotten this prep to refret it. But I had decided that I want to go ahead and, wow, I got a weird angle. Anyway, I decided I was going to go ahead and refret, before I refret it, I'm going to go ahead and ebonize it. So I had sanded it down. I still got to clean out the cracks. As you can see, it's kind of a brownish color now. It was a darker color before I had sanded it, but I've gotten it sanded and ready to put some of the ink on. I'm going to go ahead and clean these up. Clean out the cracks real quick, and then I'm going to tape this up, and then I'll go ahead and apply the ink or the dye to it. So I will show you in a few minutes what it is I'm going to be putting on this. Okay, I'll be right back. I found that this putty knife fits these fret slots better than everything else because it doesn't have any sharp edges. It just slides right through the groove and gets all the gunk right on out. So as you can see, all the cracks are clean now, and we are going to be taping this off, and then we'll stain it and we'll be good to go. So you can see this is a pretty dark wood already, so I just want it to be a little darker. So I got the neck ready to go. All the grooves are cleaned out. It's taped off. So we are going to be putting on Varathane Classic Penetrating Wood Stain, and it's a classic black. I had seen this on another YouTuber's video where he did did several of his necks over time, and he even did a video a year later showing how it's held up. So we'll see if I'm happy with it. There's no turning back, that's for sure. So go ahead and try and limit what touches this. So here we go. Then we're gonna do right here. Boy, that is black. Be a bummer to ruin my inlays, wouldn't it? I didn't bother to tape them off because he said the stain didn't stick to them. Make sure I get the ends real good. Well, that is black. Whew. wipe off the excess. There's a lot of excess on here. Well, these inlays are definitely darker. I'm sure that I can get it off with some alcohol or something. I should have taped them off. Yeah, it doesn't stick. It's not really sticking to the inlays. It is coming off. It's taking a little bit of pressure, but it definitely is coming off the inlays. Okay, so it's still drying, but as you can see, it is very dark now. Pretty stoked at how that came out for a first coat. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm reluctant about putting on a second coat because this came out pretty good. With a few shiny spots, but other than that, I did have to resand a little bit right here because it didn't take as good here. It was lighter here. I'm gonna put a little more here, so I might put a light coat on the whole thing just for GPs at this point. So yeah, you can see right here too, it's discolored. So I think maybe what I might do is I might lightly sand the edge on this side too, and then reapply a second coat, and then we'll be good. Okay, so what I've done here is I put on a second coat, and with that second coat, let's see if I can get this camera in here. I now have a nice uniform ebony fretboard. And I got all the tape off of it. I ended up putting on, I would say 3 or 4 layers, but what I did was the first night, yesterday I had put a layer on and let it sit. I'd wiped a little bit off, just the excess, and then I'd let it sit overnight. And then I came back in today and I wiped it down really good, and quite a bit came off. And now there's none coming off, as you can see. It's nice and clean now. I'll show both cameras. And I was really concerned initially because a lot of the stain was coming off. So I had went back and put a layer on, and then I wiped it off almost immediately. Kind of just let it soak in. And this stain is pretty watery, so I hardly used any of it at all. And I just did it 3 or 4 times. I put it on, wiped it off. And this is, the first layer was done overnight, but then these were extra layers I did. And now one thing I didn't do is I didn't protect my inlays. I had thought about putting something on them, and I was worrying about sanding, and I did most of my sanding around the inlays, but I wasn't too worried when I got up to the like the 220 and higher grit. I went ahead and went across them, but I could still see scratches. And then I was kind of disappointed that I didn't cover them up. So be careful if you sand across the inlays. You will scratch them. And the way I had remedied that is I took some 1000 grit and 15 grit sandpaper, and it actually polished the scratches right out of them and made them just like brand new again. So even though I did scratch them a little bit with the 220 going across. And I didn't do it real heavy, but there was scratches. Once I saw that I was scratching them, I quit doing it there, and I didn't do it on the lower half. It was only the upper handful of frets. But the 1000 grit and 1500 grit got the scratches out and made these look like brand new again. So that was not a problem. It just made for extra work. So anyway, so there it is. There is the Ebonized fretboard, and it came out really nice. I will do a side-by-side of what it looked like before I did this, because I did take pictures, before and after pictures, so those will show up here in the video. Okay, so what you're looking at right now is the fretboard. After I had ebonized it, I had went ahead and sanded it back down somewhat, so there's dark spots and some of the brown. But all those little lighter marks is wood filler. When I had pulled the frets out, it created some chip out. And so when I had ebonized it, you could really see the little pieces that were chipped out. So before refretting it, I wanted to fill those in. So I had sanded the board back down, like I said, and filled it in. So what you're seeing right now is just all the wood filler before I re-ebonized the board. Okay, so here's a picture of the guitar finished with the frets and strings on it. But the purpose of this picture is to show how the ebonized neck looks compared to the gray soloist hanging on the wall next to the Warrior. The neck on this guitar was pretty much the same color as the neck on that soloist. So you can see how much darker this ebonized neck came out. This is after putting on about 4 layers. What I did is I'd lightly sand it, and then I'd put on another layer, lightly sand it, put on another layer. And I'm talking lightly sanding with like an 600, 800 sandpaper. And it just really came out really nice after I had got rid of all the chip out. So I just wanted to show how it looked complete.